Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sabidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamakyam Dadadi Sabadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yudapadakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sakrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadodam Parijana Sagidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha Ye Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mukam Karodi Vachalam Pangam Lange Degarim Yatkravatamaham Vande Paramanandamadamam Mukam Karodi Vachalam Pangam Lange Degarim Yatkravatam Vande Shri Gurum Dhirataranam Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripasindhupya Evaja Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktatyam Namami Bhakta Saktikam Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Sranvatham Swakatha Krishna Punyashravana Kirtanaha Ratayantastohi Abatrani Vitanoti Sugut Sadham Nashta Prayeshu Abatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So now I'd like to discuss about Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse 32, which is the first verse of Bhishma's prayer to Lord Sri Krishna. Sri Bhishma, whose very name invokes fear, is now lying down on a bed of arrows. The term Bhishma actually is derived in Sanskrit as Viveti Asmat iti Bhishmaha, that everyone is afraid of him. Therefore, he is known as Bhishma. If we closely look at the character of Bhishma, the one term which comes to our mind is great. Everything about Bhishma Dev is great. His birth is great. His ancestry is great. In fact, in the scripture, it is said that the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan, has 6 eternal qualities. Aishwaryasya samagrasya, Viryasya asasahasriya, Jnana Vairagya Yochaiva Saranam Bhagavatis Gana. So the Vishnu Puranam describes how the Supreme Lord has 6 qualities in full, which is Aishwaryasya, he has all the riches, Viryasya, he has all the strength, Yasasaha, and he has all fame, Sriyaha, he has all good fortune, all good features, Jnana, the Supreme Lord has all knowledge, Vairagya, Supreme Lord has all detachment or all renunciation. Therefore, he is known as Bhagavan. Now, if we carefully analyze, we will see that Bhishma Dev also had these 6 qualities present in him. It is an extremely rare combination for anyone to have all the six qualities that are present in Bhagavan. Bhishma Dev had Aishwarya, immense opulence, which he had gotten from his father, King Shantanu, Virya, and he had extreme strength, Yasassaha, and he had extreme good fame because he was known as Gangaputra, the son of river Ganges. Sriyaha, and he was an extremely beautiful looking, always he was wearing the pristine white colored cloth. Gyan, and he had an extremely high degree of spiritual knowledge, especially he learned a lot from his spiritual master Sri Parashuram, and Vairagya. And Bhishma Dev also had renunciation in him because he agreed not to become the king of Guru dynasty. So all these six qualities are present in Sri Bhishma Dev. The only difference is that in Supreme Lord, these qualities are present to an infinite degree, but still for a living entity to have all these six qualities simultaneously is actually a very great achievement. So everything about Bhishma Dev is great. Since his very birth, his birth on this planet Earth was the result of a curse. Sri Bhishma Dev is one of the 8 Vasus and in his previous life is named as Dev. These Vasus in the heavenly planet, they reside with their family and friends. One particular occasion, these 8 Vasus were traveling in the forest of this planet Earth, and suddenly they happened to see the wish-fulfilling Kamadhenu of the sage Vasishta. And on seeing the cow, the wife of one of the Vasus, the wife of Dev, she desired to have that cow. So the Vasus were attempting to take that cow, and suddenly Vasishta came to know, and immediately Sage Vasishta arrived on that spot and cursed all of them to be born on earth as mortal human beings, and after being born as mortal beings, they would lose their status as Vasus. So all the Vasus, they were extremely frightened by this curse, and they prayed to Sage Vasishta to kindly excuse them. So after a lot of prayers, Vasishta finally agreed, but he kept a condition that although all of you will have to take birth on earth, and 7 out of 8 of you will be liberated immediately after taking birth on earth, which means that 7 out of 8 will die immediately after taking the birth. But the 8th one will have to live out the life of all the 7 combined plus his own life on earth. It is a long existence and cursed existence for that particular Vasu who will stay on earth. Now, who will be that Vasu? So that Vasu is Dev, because it is Dev's wife who had the desire of Kamadhenu. So Dev appeared from the heavenly planet on this earth in the form of Sri Bhishma Dev. And Sri Bhishma Dev is actually going to be the king of the entire Kaurava kingdom, but his father Shantanu, he married second time. The first marriage was to Ganga and the second marriage was to Satyavati. Now Satyavati's father kept a condition that Satyavati will only marry Shantanu if the son born from Satyavati will be allowed to become the king. Shantanu was perplexed because Shantanu wanted Bhishma to be seated on the throne. However, Bhishma immediately understood his father's precarious condition, and therefore he immediately promised that he would vacate the throne for the son of Satyavati. For this great attitude of generosity, Shantanu gave a benediction to Bhishma that Bhishma would live for as long as he wants. And he would have something known as Ichamritu for death at will. Although it seems like a benediction, it actually gradually turned out to be a curse. Because a generation after generation, there was nobody to be friends with Bhishma. Also, Bhishma had taken vow to be a brahmachari. So Bhishma had no married life. Bhishma had no friends. So all alone, generation after generation, he was living out of his cursed existence. And he was praying for that particular day when he would get a chance to get out of this cursed existence. And after many hundreds of years, there appeared on this planet Vasudev, Lord Sri Krishna. And this Lord Sri Krishna, he was recognized by Bishma Dev immediately. Bishma Dev knew that Lord Sri Krishna is the open door to my liberation. It is only by the help of Lord Sri Krishna that Bishma Dev thought that he would be able to get out this existence of his curse. So therefore, Bishma Dev would always stay in close proximity of Sri Krishna. And this very Lord Sri Krishna now has come in front of Bishma Dev. The purpose of Lord Sri Krishna coming to Bhishma Dev is to block all gates that will lead to another rebirth in this material world. Lord Sri Krishna is present in front of Sri Bhishma Dev in the form of time. Because the day on which Bhishma Dev passed away is Bhishma Ashtami, is the Ashtami, the 8th day of the month of Margashirs. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that among all the months, I am the month of Margashirs. So as far as the month is concerned, the month in which Bhishma Dev passed away is a feature of Krishna himself. Moreover, the day is Ashtami, the 8th day. Ashtami is Krishna's day because Krishna appeared on Ashtami. So even the day belongs to Krishna. Krishna is personally present as well as the place is also representative of Krishna because this place is Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra. So wherever there is Dharma, there will be always Lord Sri Krishna. So this holy place is Dharmakshetra and Kurukshetra, also representative of Lord Sri Krishna. Time, place, circumstance, all are representing Lord Sri Krishna here. And Lord Sri Krishna has also come personally in front of Sri Bhishma Dev. Thereby, Sri Bhishma Dev now will begin his final prayers, his final words will be spoken through the medium of Srimad Bhagavatam. So before we begin Sri Bhishma Dev's prayer, I would like to read the translation of 2 verses which comes before his prayers. So verse number 30, the translation is, Thereupon the man who spoke on different subjects with thousands of meanings and who fought on thousands of battlefields and protected thousands of men stopped speaking and being completely freed from all bondage, withdrew his mind from everything else and fixed his wide eyes upon the original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who stood before him four-handed dressed in yellow garments that glittered and shined. So it is important to note here is that it should be understood that Krishna stood before him as four-handed Lord Vishnu, since Bhishma Dev, he worshipped the deity was four-handed Narayana. In verse number 31, by pure meditation, looking at Lord Sri Krishna, he at once was freed from all material inauspiciousness and was relieved of all bodily pains caused by the arrow wounds. Thus all the external activities of his senses at once stopped, and he prayed transcendently to the controller of all living beings while quitting his material body. So it is important to note in this verse that Bishma Dev, while praying, he was not experiencing any pain at all. He had transcended all pain, and he was praying out of feeling of gratitude toward Lord Sri Krishna. So now let us begin the first verse of Bhishma's stuti in this presentation. Sri Bhishma uvaaca iti matir upakalpita vitrsnaa bhagavati saatvata-pungave vibhuumni sva-sukham upagate kvacid vihartum prakrtim upeyusi yad-bhava-pravaahah. Sri Bhishma said, "Let me now invest my thinking, feeling and willing, which were so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, in the all-powerful Lord Sri Krishna. He is always self-satisfied, but sometimes being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending on the material world, although from him only the material world is created." So before one can pray for attachment to Krishna, one has to surrender everything. So Bhishma Dev knew this fact, and in order to pray for loving attachment, Sri Bhishma Dev first offers all his activities to Lord Sri Krishna through this verse. So the first word, iti mati, gives the essence of what is he going to talk about throughout all those prayers. Basically, I am going to make an offer of my thoughts. I am already on the bed of arrows, rotten enough, so to say, the situation around long time. I have nothing materially to make an offer to Sri Krishna. So, iti mati, I am going to offer my consciousness to Sri Krishna. And upakalpita vitrsnaa. Upakalpita means early this mati was invested in diverse subject matters, but vitrsnaa, now I want to take it off, withdrew from all those subject matters, and now I want to invest my mind. Where is the upayokam? Where is the upayokam? It is in Bhagavati, the Lord who has 6 opulences. Saatvata-pungave, the word who is the leader of the devotees, and vibhu, one who is infinitely great, the unsurpassable Supreme Lord. In him I want to invest my thinking, feeling and willing. Our consciousness is looking for these 3 things. What is more attractive, that is where the consciousness flows. So Bhagavati refers to the 6 opulences, one who has in full the most attractive person. Then the consciousness is also attracted when it finds the shelter, and our mind and intelligence who is always searching for a good leadership to follow. It is flowing to seek shelter in a qualified person. So saatvata-pungave. There are many isms, so to speak. All these modern isms are attacking the dharma, the religious principles. Namely, they are attacking the dharma of the soul. So therefore, the Lord is the best leader that we can get in our life. And lastly, our consciousness is also attracted towards something magnificent, great, wonders. So vibhuumni, that is how who is investing his consciousness. Now, Bhishma Dev is talking about 2 things here. One is the primary qualities, and the second one is the secondary qualities of the Lord. What is the first quality that is meditating upon? Sva-sukham upagate kvacid vihartum. There are 2 translations here. One is the Lord has attained self-satisfaction, sva-sukham, but kvacid vihartum is fond of giving sukha to his devotees, and for that sake he performs various activities. So this is one of primary quality of the Lord. Prakrtim upeyusi yad-bhava-pravaahah. Here, upeyusi means the Lord accepts the position of Prakriti. He is the one who creates the Mahatattva, the three Purushas, namely Karadakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, and that is called accepting Prakriti. Yad-bhava-pravaahah. Bhava-pravaahah means from whom the creation, maintenance and destruction takes place. This is called bhava. And pravaha means constantly made and annihilated. Chain of constant flow of srishti, sthiti, pralaya is maintained, and that is called bhava-pravaahah. So he assumes the form, assumes the role in jurisdiction of Prakriti by which he maintains bhava-pravaahah, that is his secondary quality. Also, we can explain the same thing this way. Kvacid vihartum prakrtim. Play with yogamaya. Sometimes the Lord has desire to play with his prakriti. What does he do? He accepts to play with yogamaya. He is not forced to play with yogamaya, but he is voluntarily accepts to play with yogamaya. Supreme Lord does not forget his swarup, does not forget who he is. He is not like jiva, ordinary jiva. He does not become a slave like jiva by his maya. He accepts maya by his own will, and he accepts various sportive pastimes with her. The Supreme Lord never accepts any direct play or direct pastimes with Mahamaya or material energy. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that this Mahamaya is simply a shadow of Yogamaya. Srishti-sthiti pralaya sadhana saktireka cha eva yasya bhavanani vivarti durga ichchanurupam api yasya cha sheshtate sa govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The Supreme Lord never accepts Mahamaya or the material energy. He accepts Yogamaya, and Yogamaya gets the job done through Mahamaya. Sri Bishma Dev explains that Yogamaya instructs the Mahamaya in the creation of this world. The flow of creation of this world begins. That is what happening. Srila Prabhupada gives a very interesting twist by combining these two into one statement out of that. He says, the Lord is always self-satisfied, but sometimes the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pressure by descending on the material world, although from him only the material world is created. This term, sva-sukham upagate, one of the way to get self-realization or self-satisfaction is to get connected to one's own roots. Where do I come from? What has brought me up in the current state that I have come inside of this body? Who are all those people who are contribute in the making of Namashravan Das and whatever person may be, and to get the ability to understand the roots, our development, and our contribution. So it's all sequential and integrated process. Sometimes when we become a devotee, we cut the roots here and there, but we cannot run away from that. We have to understand that our deeper connections with Krishna and through Krishna with Vyashti means connecting with own body, mind, intelligence, everything devoted to bhakti. Samashti means the family and the community. Srishti means the nature around and the environment through which we came in. So the more we become connected with this, we start developing self-realization. Then we start becoming aware of who we are, where do I come from, where I'm going, what are we supposed to be doing in life. So the point is just like the word sva-sukham upagate, we should be able to do something. Sva-sukham upagate, which means there are two types of families we have. One is blood relatives, the other one is we have a devotee family. So for both these people, we should do something that will bring them great satisfaction. Of course, within the realm of Krishna consciousness. We should work in that direction, and that brings growth and happiness. Prayers of Bishma Dev, verses 32 through 42. Best thing in the prayer is to give one's thought to the Lord, iti matir. So now I begin giving offering of my thoughts to Sri Krishna, and then the whole prayer continues. The only position that we have is only thinking, feeling, and willing. We have to offer it to Krishna. What is our great fortune? We do not know. Something had happened of this caliber of Bhishma passing away, which we did not attend, and Krishna personally present, and the exchange of love that happened between Lord Sri Krishna and Bhishma Dev, between two of them. But simply by sitting and reading Srimad Bhagavatam in our own home, we can completely transport it to that place, just as Krishna is taking great interest in assisting pass away of a devotee to give him a confirmed success in his departure going back to Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvaham dadami buddhiyogam tam yenamam upayantite. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So this is assured by the presence of the Lord in front of him. So we should not be lazy or selfish when someone is passing away, thinking that anyhow, what can I do? We should try our best to do something from our side to assist the devotee to departure from this material world. We all need each other to gain in leverage. With our strength, we can only make some spiritual advancement. If we get together, especially at this crucial moment, with our own devotees, will be wonderful to both the parties, and therefore we shouldn't be lazy, we shouldn't be selfish, we shouldn't be distracted or unwilling in helping the devotee who passes away or have passed away levels. Whatever best we can do, we should do that. Krishna is showing by his own example. So I stop here. This is my presentation about the prayer of Bhishma Stuti, the first prayer. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.